Hello, welcome to the Everton Daily Live. It's me and John today. A fresh lineup. We've not done one together for a long time.
There's a reason for that, Ned.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this might be the best one we've ever done. This
and
might
it's not
be
what
the
Emma
best one.
thinks either, you know.
No, yeah, Emma clearly doesn't seem too happy about it, but hopefully we can change her opinion if that's the case. Everton have released a new away kit today. I think it's gorgeous. We'll get into that later on, but in the meantime, while we talk about some signings, give us your opinions on the new kit in the comments and we'll read them out later. If you like it, why? If you don't like it, again, why? But first, Jake O'Brien spotted outside the Titanic today in the new training kit.
Well, it's great, isn't it? It's done, isn't it? I think.
Probably all but announced.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get journalists observing that the medical's been done. Then you see the guy outside the Titanic wearing Everton gear. And one assumes he'd be on his way to Coventry if the guys aren't already there. And we'll find out tonight, I guess. I guess we'll also use the new away kit. So, yeah, it's done. It's done.
Why do you think...
Just need someone to tell us it's done, don't we?
Why do you think... What do you think the purpose of a centre-half? Do you think he's just a backup? Do you think he's Branthwaite long-term replacement? Or do you think he's a first-team starter now?
Well, we clearly need backup for a kick-off, right? We also, one assumes, are planning that... doesn't necessarily mean like this is what we want, but we're planning that Branthwaite may go in a few... Well, some may claim in a current transfer window, but very, very unlikely. And in the future, we need a replacement. But we also need backup, don't we? Because ultimately, if something happens to Tarkowski or something happens to Branthwaite, we're straight into Michael Keane, aren't we?
Yeah.
And Michael rightly, at the stage of his career, wants to play football. Therefore, let's hope that completing O'Brien allows the freedom for the manager to say, right, I definitely don't need Keane now. And clearly Holgate's got no future at Everton. And beyond that, you're into Shawn and non-centre-backs into centre-back positions. So I think it's just sensible squad depth stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in my own opinion, it's why I was a bit disappointed to see Godfrey go, because I don't think there's many out there that we could get.
I wasn't the slightest bit disappointed.
I was only disappointed because of
not because it's anti-player, but because I think he was not. Sorry, mate. He wasn't going to get any minutes, was he? So
yeah, well, that's it. But I think just for the peace of mind, having a player that we know can play left back and right back and centre back, he might not necessarily be the greatest of quality. He had some good games last season. He did get some minutes eventually,
and he was great when he did. He never let us down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I was really pleased for him. I suppose I should have said it that way. You know, he expects to get minutes in Italy, and he's got attributes that'll play well out there. But you've got to balance a squad between players you're going to use and players you're not. And the ones you're not going to use much should be your youngsters, shouldn't they? Yeah,
and if he wasn't going to sign another contract, you'd run the risk of losing him for free, which would have been the case next season.
Cool.
I think he'll do well in Italy anyway. But Jake O'Brien, I'll be lying if I say I've watched a lot of him.
I've not watched him at all.
Well, I've done the old Jake O'Brien highlights.
Yeah, we've all done. I'd be interested to know if anyone out there who's watching now has seen him play live with any degree of regularity. We know he's an athlete. We know he's a bit tall, to say the least. I'm not sure he turns quite as quickly as... Well, you can't when you're that size, I suppose. But if he's got pace, his recovery, and we've seen Branthwaite use that as well.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Then if anyone has watched him in the last season or two, then let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. I just think he's a player that can also weigh in with a few goals, and we don't really have an aerial threat. Tarkowski wins all of his aerial duels. We don't seem to use... Whether it's the delivery, I don't know. It probably is, because we've seen how dangerous he can be in the box, but he just doesn't seem to... He's not as much as an aerial threat, in the box as I thought he would be when Sean Dyche first took over. I mean, that first.
Why do you think O'Brien's going to be an aerial threat if you've never seen him play?
When most of his highlights are him scoring a goal. He got 4 goals in the league.
That's a show reel, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, if he can weigh in with a few goals, hopefully Tarkowski can do the same. The delivery gets a little bit better. Some of the players he brought in.
Yeah. Now, one of the things about this window for us, I think, and tell me what you think, and the people who are watching, is we've done business early, which is good. That helps the manager, right? And I suppose it's possible that O'Brien will be, in and around the team today, if only travelling to meet people and stuff. But because it's so early in the window, then we've got good work done. But some of the big stuff that needs to be done, like resolving what happens with DCL, and also clearly the wide, pacey winger type. Jesper coming along helps a little bit because that's a bird in the hand, so to speak. But Gnonto looks, whether it's posturing by both sides, and we certainly know Leeds, we've been there before, haven't we, that they know what their price is and they're not going to let him go below that. And clearly, whatever their price is, ours is lower because the deal hasn't been done. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but I hope the club have moved on and start looking at other targets to deliver the same, attributes that we want in the team.
Yeah, I mean, we had this last season, didn't we? And it did go right down to deadline day, and Everton was still trying to get a deal done, and it just couldn't happen. And I imagine now that Everton are getting players in early, and which is a really, really good thing and a rare thing, to be honest. 4 or 5 players through the door already at this stage before even August is good. Is good. So I think they know if they can't get Gnonto done early, knowing Leeds, I'd just move on. Whether it's different this time, it could go right down to the wire and they'll go fine. It's the second summer, he's been, not showing up to train and he wants to go, then we'll just let him go. But
see, the art of negotiation is you got to know when to walk away, right?
Yeah.
Literally, that's how deal making gets done. You've got to know when to walk away, and we've talked on the channel. Ped's been sat there. No, I sit there when Ped does it. But I've spoken to Ped about it, spoken to Baz about it. Now we're talking about it. So it's common knowledge amongst us lots and the fan base. We don't want to be legged over by these guys. You just drag it out, drag it out, drag it out, drag it out. So if we've walked away, that's it for Gnonto, right? Clearly, they may choose to come back. I don't know what Leeds' approach is, and again, I don't know if anyone's got any insight on this. I don't know if they're happy to let him go, but they want the right money, or they don't want him to go. If you look at Branthwaite with us and Manchester United, it's got to be crazy money, and even then we might say no. I'm talking about this window in particular. So we've made our stall very clearly. We do not want Branthwaite to leave the club, right? They haven't said that, so they're just arguing about price, I guess. And then the fun becomes their season will start before our season. And therefore it becomes disruptive for them if they play and then they have to take him out and all that sort of stuff. So I just think Everton have to just assume there's plenty more talent out there with the attributes we want, which is fundamentally pace and something a bit different. And we've had some of our viewers who are well informed as well saying they're not bothered, and I'd be interested to know what people have to say. They're not bothered if Gnonto falls apart because you can get better value elsewhere. And certainly Baz would say there's better value elsewhere. So let's see if we can do that. And that's a shame because that would be a couple of times Gnonto's wanted to come here and it hasn't happened. But he's a young lad and he just needs to keep rocking up in the Championship because Leeds might be there for a while. So let's see.
Yeah, and there is other talent, and I think we're in a much better position now because if you look at the end of the season, Jack Harrison went back to loan, Dan Juma went back to Villarreal. So we ended up in a situation where we only had McNeil, and so we got in Harrison, Lindstrom, another loan deal with an option to buy, obviously. But you could say we've basically sorted the wing position. We're at least where we're at last season, if not better, with Lindstrom.
Well, we're better off because without the extra player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Without spending any money.
You're like you've subbed Dan Juma for Lindstrom.
And I imagine Lindstrom's going to get more of a look than Dan Juma was last season. I mean, Cato says just go and get Jack Clark. He's the young lad from Hull, isn't he? Is it Hull or Sunderland? One of the two. Jack Clark.
There's plenty of players out there, right, Ned? There's plenty of players. Yeah, there's plenty of players who have what we would think is the attributes we're missing, which is ultimately pace.
Yeah.
And when we were talking the other day, we were saying, well, if Lindstrom comes and Gnonto comes, then the manager has decisions to make because logically he's got 4 players for what might be perceived as 2 positions. 3 for 2 is okay. Gnonto's young as well. And that's the good side of him. He's young, but find a young player, a lot less money than Gnonto, who can fit those attributes and bring him on quietly, if you will.
I think Jack Clark's a really good shout. To be fair, he's getting a lot of interest from Sunderland. He's 23 now.
There's an age thing there.
Yeah, but like we spoke about it the other day, didn't we?
Players mature later sometimes. Yeah.
If we were to get Gnonto through the door, we'd be in a situation where we've got 4 players that all play in the same position, and they can all, they're all good enough to start. And in my opinion, So I put the question to you and Baz on the Round the Tower. If you haven't seen it, it's to be on Premier to watch it. If you haven't seen it, who would you start on the wings if you had a choice of those 4 players, including Nanto? And we all had different answers, and that's clearly a good thing.
He was being provocative, though, wasn't he? Yeah.
Well, last season we'd have just gone McNeil or Harrison, isn't he?
Yeah.
And if it's Ashley Young on the wing, we're all
I think nominally they play the same position, but they're not the same position when they're in them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Dwight McNeil, type of player that he is, good engine up and down. If you're like heavily defensively minded, if you need him to do that, give him any space with that left foot of his and blah, blah, blah. But is he going to... I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here because he's done it. He carries the ball faster than he can run, doesn't he? If that makes sense.
Yeah, on the break, yeah.
And Jack Harrison's just got stuck in that loop of always turning back, right? But it's a marginal game, football, and the mere fact that there's competition for places will make both those players from last season play better. Dwight didn't have as good a season last season as he did the year before, certainly for goals, but he had a lot of off-field stuff that he had to deal with, so hopefully he's in a happier place. And Harrison himself knows that he didn't really perform as well as he can. So that's both good stuff. And Lindstrom's going to be strutting around the place saying, well, I'm starting, aren't I?
Yeah. Well, last season was probably in that position on the wings, right wing and left wing, least amount of competition any players ever had to put up with. In the past few years, we've had Richarlison, Gray, Gordon's all in the same team. Well, now you've just got...
They're all good players we sold for... incompetence at boardroom.
Yeah. So. Well, now we've got players like Lindstrom and Ndai. I know Ndai's only played on the left in an Everton shirt so far, so who knows if Ndai could play on the left, Lindstrom could play through the middle. He could switch it up. Like Danjuma played games both through the middle and out wide, albeit it was, a handful of games.
The thing is, not a lot going on at the moment, is it? I mean, players have not long come back. We're into... for us anyway, second stroke third pre-season if you count Sligo as part of that. Championship, or EFL rather, will start, is it next week or the week after? The EFL
it's the first week of August or second week. It's a week before Premier League, so second week of August, isn't it?
So next week it'll be Scotland will start or something.
10th or something like that.
So it's early doors, and of course, we talk about this every year. To some degree, it seems a bit daft. The window's still open while you're playing. You're playing competitive games already. DCL will go deep, I think. So we need, again, the Nanto thing of draw a line in the sand and move on. And I know Baz is quite passionate about this, well, if the guy's not going to... sorry, I shouldn't spoil it. He said that on... Did he say that on Round the Tower as well about DCL?
I think he said he'd get rid of him.
Well, he'd let him rot in the reserves. Was the gist of it, wasn't
it? Stayed, yeah.
In other words, if you're not going to put... And he's right, and he's talking about if he's still here when the season starts. Because to some degree, do you play your best players, or do you play the players who are going to be here on September the 1st for sure? Which is why the club need, and probably Kevin and the director of football, need to sit down and agree what they're going to do. But Sean Dyche isn't shy. It wouldn't surprise me if DCL was still here and there was no change in the situation if he didn't start the first game.
Yeah.
By the way, my view was you played your best player who's at the club at the time, and that would be Dominic. So.
I think in the position where we are, I think that's probably the best thing to do, isn't it? Especially
a position where we are.
A position where we don't really score a lot of goals and we're in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
Should have made that more clear anyway.
We're not bottom half of the table, mate.
Well, we were last season, and I think you take the goals out. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored
7,
and that's joint top scorer, which isn't great. I mean, we've been linked with Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, it is that one.
And that's probably one of the reasons, I'll come on to him in a minute, we need to sort out the Dominic Calvert-Lewin situation, because if he's going, is Beto staying, is Schmidt staying? Because there's other ones where Beto's not getting a lot of game time. Does he become your number one? Personally, for me, I think if he's playing every game consistently and the team around is better, he will score more goals than he did last season.
The bar's low, isn't it? 7 league goals from a lead striker is no good.
Schmidt really needs a loan. So he's playing every game. In my opinion, I will say I think he's got better being around the first team and getting minutes in the Premier League like he did last season. There's no doubt about that.
He needs regular play, that's for sure.
He needs regular play time.
He does.
Whether he'll get that at Everton, whether he should get that at Everton.
Abraham's, though, I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure on Abraham, yeah.
Expensive, injury prone. Yeah.
He's a good player. He's had He scores goals. He's had a lack of goals in the past couple of seasons because of those injuries. I know it was his ACL.
If he was to come to Everton, to me, it would be on loan with an option on our side to buy, because he'd have to go through the season. But I think you're right. Schmidt would benefit from going out on loan, playing in the Championship somewhere, top end of the Championship maybe, scoring goals, certainly playing every week. That suggests we would need 2 striker types to come in, or we need to have someone who can play in that role. But that might be where Lindstrom might come in, playing off a lead, or I think he's played as a number 9 in the emergencies anyway. Yeah. But but it's all sameness stuff, isn't it? O'Brien, we've known that for a while. Nonto, the situation hasn't changed. Abraham was mentioned yonks ago. Speculation all over the place of all these strikers that we're looking at, and you can take some with a pinch of salt. If Romano says it, maybe it's got some legs to it, whatever, and it all hangs in some respects stacked in behind DCL. What's he doing?
Whether he's staying or going.
What's he doing?
Well, we know one thing he isn't doing is signing a contract right now. And if that's the case absolutely he's not signing a contract, I'll be trying to get rid of him.
But there's no cure clubs coming for him either.
Exactly.
So what will happen is, in the latter days of the window, he will either moderate his needs around where he wants to go. Because I thought, in some respects, he was asking Newcastle too much money. But also, there's some rumours he didn't necessarily want to go to Newcastle anyway. Doesn't want to go up to the northeast. Perhaps he's more interested in the southeast, which is perhaps where the West Ham rumours come from. Yeah. But they're going off somewhere else now.
John Duran, it looks like.
Yeah. And that's probably because Villa are moving on, I suppose, in some of the things they're trying to do. So we'll see how all that plays out.
It does need sorting. And we have no idea we will at this point in time, because of the players that we brought in, and maybe this is a good thing. We've no idea what the starting lineup will look like in that first game against Brighton at home. We've no idea who will be in the 10, who will be up front.
It's only up there where there'll be some,
and that's where our goals come from. Abdoulaye Doucouré was joint top scorer last season. There's no guarantee he'll be in the team this season as much as last season. So who's going to score our goals? If it's not down at Calvert-Lewin, we need someone who will at least probably guarantee us goals.
I think you'll find that Pickford will be in goal.
That's one thing I'm sure
Coleman,
about.
But it should be, in my view, should be Patterson right back. Tark, if he's fit, which is supposed to be just a niggle. Branthwaite, Mikalenko, Garner and Ganner. And then in front of that is where you're saying there's a bit of doubt. So if you fall to stereotypes with the manager, does what he knows, then you're going to have Harrison and Dwight McNeil. Yeah. If DCL's still at the club, will he start DCL? Time will tell. And then you've got Doucouré's there. So, it's almost, it's the same team as last season. Yeah,
which didn't score a lot of goals.
But with a heavy loaded bench, with lots more options on the bench for the manager if he uses them. And I know if we had Lindstrom and we had Nonto, Baz's view, rightly probably, they'd be the 2 starters. I just don't see myself, not starting Harrison and not starting Dwight McNeil in the first game.
Is there a striker out there that Everton have been linked to recently that you think that would be...
No, none of them are exciting, are they? And they're all players who have challenges wherever they are. Yeah. So that's part of the fun, really, I think.
I mean, Breuer.
Yeah, Breuer,
lack of goals.
He may very well go deep into the window, and I know Deitch likes him, doesn't he? Because he's his kind of player, I guess. But again, the Breuer that burst onto the scene is one player, and the Breuer who spends a lot of time injured and not scoring goals is another player. And which one are you going to get? So none of these options are anyone we're going to spend money on, is it? We'll do loan fees perhaps. But the options on our side, and that just makes the commercial side of it a bit more difficult, because if you're trying to unload players, then you want people to pay money for them. So it's difficult. But we've got some birds in the hand already, so let's not get too uptight about it. But also, let's not be too surprised if the starting 11 and the first home game is very, 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 very similar to what it would have been, the last home game of the season type of thing.
Yeah, and maybe that's, we started the season last season with Michael Keane at centre-back, and maybe that's the suitable, most sensible decision, just to bed the new players in. A lot of them, most of them haven't played any Premier League football at all. But we'll have to just wait and see after the window shuts, I suppose. What our
Well, that's where the Lindstrom
starting lineup will be.
interview was interesting, when he signed, because he was obviously very upfront about, I'm ready. I've done my pre-season up to the point when we start playing friendlies. I'm ready. I've had a really good conversation with the manager. So maybe the manager's indicated he is the one who will start. Because some of his signings have to start, don't they? Otherwise, you haven't really shaken up your comfortable starting 11.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
Right.
What's the world think?
Well, I just found a comment. Blue 96. Keep Schmidt 100% has the potential to be the best striker at the club.
I think he's right, yeah, with that.
Obviously, has to keep him.
Great
do you think he needs a loan, though?
If he plays minutes, right, then with some regularity, so he's on the bench every single game, and every single game he comes on, then, playing regularly, he can do in the Premier League. I think he's he's filling out a little bit. Be interesting to see how he is when we see him, on a pit. I'm going to Coventry tonight. That'll be the first game I've seen this pre-season so far. But he's got movement. He's got something about him. He always looks sharp. I think it's a difficult call. I wouldn't be too concerned if we didn't have the numbers and we concluded that having a, if you will, third choice centre forward who's young and mobile, we've already got one of them. Seems a bit daft if we bring someone in with similar attributes and send him out. But if the similar attribute player from somewhere else has got more experience in the Premier League, then that's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, bringing in Abraham just to send Schmidt out on loan seems an expensive way around.
We've got a comment saying any news in terms of potential new buyers. That's from Ian. And I think we probably got the best guest on the show that we've got to answer that question.
I mean, all quiet on the Western Front, isn't it, really? We talk about new buyers. I think it's to me, it's really interesting because I'm not totally convinced the Friedkin group have gone away. I know we as fans will say, well, they've got history with this at Roma. It'd be interesting to see when Roma turn up, right? Whether anything happens in and around that date, which is a number of weeks away yet. But I mean, I think this is one of those where quiet silence might be interesting in the sense that back in the day when I was negotiating deals, if it was really quiet on a deal and they weren't talking to you, it was because they were talking to somebody else. Yeah. So there must be great interest. It's just getting kept under control, under wraps, which probably suggests that it's not being exposed to people at the club, particularly. I think Colin Chong is really good at keeping his counsel. So if it's just between Colin and Farhad, it probably isn't going to leak very far. So let's wait and see. Keep saying let's wait and see, but I think we're in that little nether. We're in that. They've come back to training and lots of stuff's going on.
Yeah.
And then we go into a couple of weeks when it's just turning the handle. They've got to play pre-season friendlies. It doesn't particularly matter whether we win, lose or draw. We expect to. We don't want injuries and blah, blah, blah. And then it all gets a bit more interesting with a week to go and then the first week of the season, doesn't it? Yeah. And then that'll drift naturally into the last couple of weeks of the transfer window. But no, sorry, my friend, nothing secret squirrely that I can say, watch this space. Not at all. No.
There you go. Emma says, can we end the show with some after-dinner Ned-a-size? I've not had my dinner, to be honest, Emma, so I don't think I've quite got the energy to do it, especially after the weekend
You
I've
are
had.
one lightweight, mate. You've had, what is it, one day off because you had a bit of a long weekend.
I was at a festival all day Sunday.
And you're a wreck.
In the heat.
Well, you avoided getting cooked anyway. So.
The amount of... I was plastered. Some woman was going around with factor 50, so I was just like that, with the balls going like that everywhere. And then we carried on the Monday because it was nice.
You were in the audience or playing?
No, in the audience.
All right. So
I would have been loved to playing. But
where did you go?
Brighton.
Yeah, I know where Brighton.
On the Beach Festival.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Brighton on the beach.
So there's sandy feet, have you?
Yeah, a great Irish band called Murray Wallopers. I'm sure people have heard of those.
They're the best.
They were. They're not. Some people would say they're the best, but the Libertines were headlining. I love the Libertines. And then I've all-female band called The Big Moon, who are brilliant, really, really good.
And out of those three, who was the best? Who was the worst then? Worst is horrible if they're all good, but who was
They're
the
all
least?
good. I wasn't really interested
in a
in
1, 2, 3, who was number 3?
Come
on. He's got to say the Libertines eventually. Come on.
The Libertines are my favourite. The Libertines are my favourite, and I loved them. One of my favourite bands of all time.
But they were number 3.
I'm going to put them 3 because they released off a pleasant surprise.
Oh, right.
I knew I'd love him. I loved them.
Oh, okay.
It was a great time. Big Moon was I'd never heard of them before. I saw them. They supported Catfish and the Bottom, I think, and they were brilliant. So I saw them live for the first time. Blown me away. Really, really good. Merle Wallopers were just. They were the first ones that I googled after leaving. I'd heard of them before, but I wasn't
How
really...
can you remember all this? Because I know what you're like when you've had a few drinks. You go from sober to out your brain quite quickly. So, was it long, steady stuff?
Thankfully, I wrote everything, all my thoughts down when I was drunk.
Was it just long, steady drinking rather than your bingey stuff?
The amount of pint cost, I didn't...
I was going to say, before you went, you were asking Baz how much. So how much was it for a pint?
So at first...
You were warned up to 10 quid, weren't you?
Well, at first, I was having like... We were having pints in like Wetherspoons and stuff beforehand, so like a fiver or something, which is normal. But you get to the festival about 4 o'clock. And you're there till about 11, and I thought, I'll start with a cider while it's summery. Can I have a pint of cider, please? Oh, we don't do pints, we just do tins, but I can give you 2 tins to make a pint. Yeah, go on then. £15, please. Jesus. But I'm not doing that again. I'll just stick to sort of like Peronis. So I was having this Peroni Capri, which is like a lemony Peroni thing, and they were a tenner, something like that. It was just ridiculous. So I've not checked my bank yet. So I was just on them for the rest of the day.
Was it a free festival?
No, it was only £45 a ticket.
Yeah, but how did they do that on a beach? Public beach, isn't it?
It's all fenced off.
Oh, okay.
And then that's the good thing. There's people on yachts watching next to the fence, and then Mary Wallopers were going, "You on yachts? Oh, buy a ticket." No, it was a good weekend though.
Okay, cool. You going to another one?
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the plot. Yeah.
Back to footy, and this is probably the main news so far today. Hopefully we get another bit of news later in terms of O'Brien.
I don't know if O'Brien's... You carry on, I'll
Everton have released the new away kit. Will he be wearing it tonight?
I think so.
Well, they've released it
I think
today.
so. And when we got some heads up last week, there was some confusion because I think Fanatics were saying it was getting launched on Monday.
Yeah.
We'd been told Tuesday, but we believe Tuesday because the club told us that. But I'm guessing the timing is related to the fact we're going to wear the thing. So I think the press release said we were going to wear it tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, I know they wear light blue, so we could probably get away with the home kit, but it'd be a good PR move to wear the away kit. If you haven't seen it,
it's boss.
Here is a picture.
Oh, have you got pictures? Oh, good one.
Boom.
Okay.
I love it. I love a black kit, and I think the yellow really stands out on it. The stake doesn't look too bad on this kit. I'm not a fan of the stake logo. Myself, but it doesn't look as bad.
I don't think anyone's a fan of that. So
the goalie kit. I mean,
I like that one. Do you?
I don't know if he'll wear that tonight though, because that is the same colour as Coventry City's kit. So he might just wear one
of the other ones,
the home kit. Yeah. But I do really like it. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. I like how they've got the tower on the away kit as well this season, so it looks like
fan of the tower.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's really smart.
Would you have it on all the shirts?
I don't know. I feel like if they did it on the home kit, I'd like it. But because I've not seen it yet, I'm just like...
Because back in when the badge got changed before, and none of us liked it, 2013 or whenever it was, one of the things that the people who wanted to keep the old badge, the really old-fashioned one, was, well, you can have a club emblem-y thing, which doesn't have to be on the shirts. And of course, we've had shirts in the past that have not had a badge on. They've had just EFC or whatever. And it'd be quite interesting. Certainly, I'd be asking the Heritage Society to bang the drum. If we went to having the tower on the footy kits, get back a proper badge, not the mongrel that we have now. We haven't got any shirts out, have we? But the kit's on sale, isn't it? But it's online first.
It's on sale online. It's in stores on Thursday.
In the stores on Thursday.
I always just like that on a kit. Yes.
Well, that used to be. We used to have that on the kit.
60s, 70s.
70s, I think.
70s.
But yeah, I like it. I think I'm not convinced by it's inspired by the night games at Goodison Park. Because it's all about light, isn't it, and stuff. But be interested because I've seen stuff on social media saying it's a template, pretty piss poor, don't like it type shirt, and yet I've liked it straight away. So
I really like it. I think it's got a nice little pattern in the shirt. Emma likes it. Toffee says he likes the 2013-14 badge. Fair enough, each to their own. Alex saying hello a million times. Alex, you're spamming, mate, and if you keep spamming, I'll give you the warning now. You're going to get one warning. Stop spamming or you get banned. But hello, Alec. Satoshi says, like 18 on one side and 78 on the other side of the tower. That's a nice, interesting idea.
Variation, yeah. I like that. That would be good.
Arthur says, I think this is the one kit I'd rather the badge fell off mid-game. No, I like it, and I hope none of the kits fall apart mid-game, to be fair. Fazza says, Belter kit. I like the goalie kit colour as well. I don't think we've ever seen something like that before. It's normally...
We don't know, do we, whether the tower's like the home kit and it's embroidered on, or whether it's...
So it's the same Pro and replicas version, so the Pro will be the same material badge, like a stick-on rubber one.
Yeah.
And then the away one's embroidered. I actually looked for some information about the kit myself.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the press stuff we got.
Normally Everton send us all the information.
I think the club consciously decided not to give a big press pack this time. I think when we received the info, was it early this morning, whenever it was, said that they're not doing a full press pack because the proximity to the home shirt, launch.
Yeah.
So you think the tower's embroidered on then?
Well, and if you look on the pictures between the Pro and the away, you can see
they look different.
The aways, the replicas embroidered on the Pro version, which I imagine if they're going to do the same versions, charge the same money, they'll do the same quality.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They have got the same material on the Pro version as well.
Yeah.
I just wish that they'd gave me more information on the pattern and stuff, because I could sit here and tell you how amazing the pattern is. It's inspired by this, inspired by that, and that's why you should buy it. And that would be a smart decision by the club.
On the basis we'll all see it from about 20 to 50 yards to 100 yards away. Yeah. We won't see the pattern anyway. But
with 1,000 people watching, if I had more information to try and help sell the kit, it will make Everton more money, which means we can go and buy players. But they just decided to give us pictures instead.
People are going to buy the kit regardless. Right?
Yeah, I'd hope so.
There's at one end of the spectrum, there's people like my great nephew and his son, right? Great nephew, I suppose, whatever. Kev and Ethan. And Ethan will have all the kits, including the goalies one. So Everton make a fortune out of that family, right? And then there'll be the ones who go, I never buy shirts, so it's nice. It'll get used at a lot of away games. And then the third kit, we don't know when that's coming out, do we?
Yeah. Again, it's just the pricing for me, but. Listen, I spent.
Are you going to buy one then? Yeah.
Maybe.
Which one are you going to buy?
I might just get one for my birthday.
Which one are you going to buy? Are you going to wait till we've got them all up here?
The third kit.
Yeah. Are you going to wait till we've got them? Well, that's a whitey, creamy one, isn't it? So you're going to wait till they're all up here?
I want to wait till they're all up here.
And then
the medium. And when
see them up close.
When someone swaps them out for the M tag setup, I'll just grab it and put it in my bag.
So you're already thinking we're going to buy medium just so it fits you, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I want to make sure we buy medium.
I've not seen anything on sizes yet, have you?
No, but and it's
because we all go through that. I'm always a medium, and you get it's too big.
Well, do you remember the first Hummel? The first year of Hummel, I was all in large. I mean, I probably do wear large now normally because I've got to put a bit of weight on. Yeah. I've got 4 stone on since we had Hummel for the first year.
What's interesting though is because
this Castori fits well.
Well, yeah, I was going to say because we get these done ourselves, don't we? Mm-hmm. So this is basically a black Castori T-shirt,
performance T-shirt. Yeah.
But we did the same with Hummel, right? And in case you want to know, peeps, the Hummel ones are really thin, lightweight, sort of on the cheap cotton.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is cheap cotton or not, but it's a lot heavier and a lot thicker. This is more like a wintry T-shirt type thing, isn't it?
It's like a tighter fitting as well, isn't it?
Well, because of that, there's less movement in it, isn't it?
Does that mean it absorbs sweat better?
No, it probably just means it gets heavy when you get wet. Yeah.
Don't go out in the rain in this Castori top.
But they seem better quality stuff anyway, which is sort of where they try to pitch their brand, isn't it? Castori, about high-end sportswear type stuff. So
I don't know if this is for certain, but Freaky Streak, I'll take his word for it. Castori shop in Cheshire Oaks don't have any kits. Great marketing. That's not great considering Everton are the biggest club that Castori have on there.
Yeah.
You'd think that they have some sort of Everton merchandise. Teddy says Everton away kit looks boss, lads.
The black one, yeah.
Will the name and numbers be yellow on the black or white? Love them to be yellow. That's a really good point. I didn't get any pictures to show. You'd think they'd be yellow. If they're white, it wouldn't.
The front's yellow, you'd think they'd be yellow.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to be white, do they? We do have away kits where they're different colours. It was white on the away kit last season, just because of the how it would stand out. But the yellow kit, they were blue, were they?
Don't remember.
Hopefully they're
I had
yellow.
this chat with Ballard.
We'll find out tonight, won't we? If they
in
were.
the past, I forget. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, it's streaming tonight as well, isn't it? The game. So, if you're a club member, then you can watch it on the telly. But me and Ped are going, so when they're warming up and stuff, we'll be able to tweet about it. If nothing else, try and get some photos. If Ped's listening, well, we'll tell him when he comes in at 3. We'll make sure we try and do some pre-match stuff, tell people where it's at. Yeah.
Danny Ellis says DHgate all the way, Ned. This is the thing that I'm going to help the club out a little bit here. If you buy the DHgate kit,
what's this?
It's not the Everton kit. The pattern is totally wrong. Someone sent me a picture in our Premier Toffee TV member Discord group chat, where we have lots of interesting discussions. They sent me a picture of the DH. Well, someone sent I can't remember who it was now. Sent a picture of the DHgate Everton top version. It's completely wrong. The pattern, they've just guessed up a pattern. They don't know that it's the old 1920s badge.
But they'll update it. Once the kit's out, they'll
we don't
copy
know
it
that.
again.
I'd just buy the new.
Yeah.
If I had the money, I'd buy
I
the
wouldn't
new
advocate
player issue.
anyone buying the fake ones, but I do understand why some might.
Yeah.
Because 75 quid's a lot of money.
Yeah. If any other clubs, I go straight to DHgate. If it was like a Juventus top or like Miami top or Minnesota top, I go straight to DHgate. Because like the Minnesota top, $180. I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
$180. But
our club gets some of the money, so let's...
Exactly. And you're getting the actual kit. The DHgate one's not even accurate.
No.
Tim Dalton, name and numbers yellow. There's pics on the store. Great.
Excellent. Good man.
That would look really nice. Thanks for letting us know, Tim. Glenn Watson says, John, return on capital employed business blame. Says, what is your favourite away kit colour for Everton?
Oh, my favourite...
Can I guess?
Yeah, you can try and guess, yeah.
Amber.
Well, almost, but no cigar. Right? Close call between the traditional amber from back in the day in the late 60s, 70s, when I was a young boy.
Alan Ball.
But if I just go by which shirt did I, as soon as it was available, thought, I've got to have one of those. And for many a year, until I gave it away to my mate, right? Because he worked overseas at the time and couldn't get one. So I literally said, here, have mine, I'll get another one. And I couldn't, which was the salmon pink striped one.
The 90s salmon pink striped one. Very, very nice. We've got it in here, haven't we?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
Is Ride Out on the back or is it green?
But that's the one anyway. The vertical stripes, of course.
I think we've got diamond on the back of ours.
Yeah.
Mine probably...
I want to know is...
Glenn, let us know what yours
Come on,
is.
Glenn. Let's know yours, my friend.
I like the hot pink one from 2011.
Fluorescent, like Dayglow.
Something like that. And then
my granddaughter liked that one.
We used to have a lime. Kit. Yeah. It's not called lime. What's it called? Luminous green.
Luminous green.
It's right there over there. It looks like a
yellow.
High-vis yellow, green.
I'll get it. Go on, you carry on.
Next to Miami black. Stefano says, wait till Christmas, get it half price. That's a good point. That's the one. This was I had this as a kid, a long sleeve, and I loved it. Yakubu black. That and the hot pink one was my favourite. In fact, we've got a hot pink one there, right next to the 95. There it is.
Steve never wore this. Did he?
That's a bit small. These were my two favourite away kits.
Mine's not here, is it?
Yeah, it should be somewhere.
Just too many shirts, man.
Salmon pink. We should do a video where we just go through the whole rack and
that would be good,
what this kit means to me.
We'll put next time.
Most of mine will be. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't
we'll get
alive.
the pink one up, just because Glenn asked for it. So
yeah,
that's the question, rather.
And
there you go.
Let's have a look at some comments. We'll go to Premier and read those comments out. Gary Ward says, howdy. Ryan says, suppose linked to Tammy Abraham. Do you think lads think there's been an improvement on DSL or race? Tammy Abraham, better than Dom, yes or no?
If he's fit, yes. If he's fit, yes. Because he's a different kind of player. Clearly, you can say Dom's going to be better in the air and this, that, and the other. But all round, if they're both in their prime, both totally fit, which one would I pick? I'd probably pick Abraham, yeah.
Yeah. Juan Figueroa says, hello there, studio and chat. Hello. Harry James says, I honestly have no idea why people are crying over the Tower badge. It's modern and the club needs dragging out the past once in a while. Fair play. I like it, Harry.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm an old bugger and I don't mind.
Yeah, I understand why people want to keep the home badge, the badge, the crest on the home kit.
But the current badge is, and I call it a mongrel because that's what I consider it, right? Trying to keep everyone happy with all the stuff on it. Don't forget that was because the whole fan base pushed back against a modern badge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the club's excuse in the day was because it would be better on TV, it was better to digitise, it was this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. But the simplicity and the purity of the Tower, spot on. And if they can promote that in the right way, and you called it out before about it's on one shirt, then it's on two shirts, and therefore you're asking the question, will it be on all three shirts? Then you just evolve into, we don't have the club badge on the shirt.
Yeah, but it's still the club crest, isn't it?
Still, yeah.
Kevin Rex says, loving the colours used on the away, especially like the use of the Tower logo and not the Everton badge. It looks like the future to me. Do you guys think it will end up replacing the Everton badge in the future?
Ooh.
I don't think it will replace the Everton badge. It's a branding, isn't it? And a lot of big clubs will. It's like a commercial move, isn't it? Have something that everything's fitted inside. You've got and people will look at that Tower eventually, hopefully, and know what it means.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They didn't when they looked at my arm, though, which is why I had to get EFC written under it so people knew what it meant.
When was that an afterthought?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we ended up with the all three shirts have the Tower on, but then the club crest would still be the club crest, and that's when I think old fogies like me might say, well, now that it's the club crest and it never appears on the shirt, can we go for something a bit more traditional?
Yeah.
Man United, by the way, their badge is still dead busy and very old-fashioned and so on, and they haven't felt any need to change it.
Yeah,
so it's curiosity.
Maybe they're just past the point of needing to change it because they're so big.
Yeah.
But if we want to get there, maybe we have to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't think the badge is going to make the club bigger, but hey-ho, yeah.
EV, Everton Viking, says, Harry, I'm one of the people who hates it. I hate the oversimplified look. It was a phase that is actually already going out of fashion. Brands are going back to retro looks already. It's a nice little thing for corporate-based things and restaurants, but it's horrible for a club badge. Well, it's not the club badge, it's on the shirt, but I get what you mean. The sooner it's swerved off the kits, the better, in my opinion. Leave the Tower symbol for the business-related things. Fair enough. I would like the Tower. Just want a nice little polo, because I'd go on a night out in it or something.
Mm.
I've got stuff.
What about? We're having a big debate about the Tower. Can't remember which chap said it. Putting 1878 either side of it.
It's an interesting. That would be interesting for a club badge. I like the old circle EFC in that EFC.
Yeah, there's lots of badges we've had over the years, but
the
1938 badge is the one.
Yeah.
So. Shareholders Association still have that badge. So
Liam says O'Brien is a brilliant signing. There's been a top-notch window so far. Kevin Thurwell, I salute you. Everton Viking says colours are lovely on the new kit though. Yeah, I agree. Blue Keeley says think the new kit looks smart. Think I'll be getting that one. Last Dance 95 shirt ordered.
Whoa! What colour?
Liam says I've seen Jake.
How many colours have we got for it? Because you have to pick.
We've got loads, haven't we?
I'm just thinking the one which is the players, but there's also the one which is the shirts, which people have. Or which one is it?
The 90. I'm guessing it's the
90s one.
Yeah, 95. I'm gonna put the.
Yeah. Can you put them up?
I can't do that from over
Curious,
here,
because we're waiting for deliveries of our stuff, aren't we?
I've put the link in the comments.
Yeah.
To the shop, so you can go and check them out yourself.
Be interesting to see when we see the numbers which ones end up being the most popular, because they're all different eras, aren't they? Right. The one with Southall on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the one with his red kit on it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the best red kit on Merseyside.
The only red kit.
Liam says I've seen Jake play for Ireland at many age groups.
Ooh,
he's teak tough. He's very good on the ball. Love a back post headed goal. He's a top signing. I'm delighted with this. He reminds me of a young Jonathan Woodgate.
Oh.
Young Jonathan Woodgate was good, and then he went to Real Madrid.
And won stuff.
True. Didn't have a great debut though. Blue Keeley says if we bring in a pacey winger, I'll start getting hope. The thing that often breaks my heart as an Everton fan. Yeah, but you know, Positivity.
It's the hope that gets you.
Last couple of comments, and then we're going to go to MTag, which I've not set up. You just have to migrate over yourself because I can't
Why?
set up while doing the show at the same time.
Okay.
I need to be over there.
Okay. What's that, 2 o'clock?
It'll be 2 o'clock, yeah, so I'm going to give myself enough time to get over. Last few comments. Schmidt looked sharpest in pre-season. Why would you loan him? Says Mark, just to get some consistent game time, because I don't know what's going to happen with strikers. But if it's a case where he's still second or third choice this season, then I'd keep him. But if he ends up being fourth choice, then I'd send him out.
Fair dues, yeah.
Jez says, John, I hear you on business dismiss the potential for any problems rising. The fraud allegations leading Hall I've directed at 777 or ACAP. Was it because you think it's rubbish, or do you think it's because something else like having the 200 million set aside would deal with it? Thiesk seems to have quite an alarmist view, but you both seem to be opposite end of the issue. Trith is probbed in the middle. But was there something specific you offsets?
The conversation we had on BWB was about Everton being held culpable for any naughtiness that 777 has done. And I don't think there's any chance of that whatsoever. That has allowed some people to conclude that the reason things like freaking have stopped or stalled or gone away totally is because the uncertainty around those civil cases means that there may be some collateral damage on any future owner, right? I don't think that's the case at all, right? And I think it's borderline scaremongering to say that it is. But in the absence of truth, right, and objectivity, then all people can have is an opinion, and that's all I've got. I've just got an opinion. I don't think that's an issue. The second part of the question is interesting because there is doubt and uncertainty around the 200 million that we allegedly own 777. Whose 200 million is it really? Now, clearly ACAP say it's theirs, right? And therefore, if you're trying to close a deal, it wouldn't go down very well if you give the money to 777 when actually it's not 777's money. And I think that's where Paul is right. You might conclude it's better to let it play out and find out where it's going to go. Yeah. If you had the money, if you were very, very wealthy, not that Mr. Freakin isn't, but like stupidly wealthy, where you could just say, I'll stick 200 million quid in an escrow account somewhere, and then when the time comes, I'll pay that or a portion of that to whoever's the right recipient, then that would obviously allow the deal to conclude. But that's a lot of money on a risk. My own view at the moment is it's probably a close call whether Freakin is dead or whether they're playing hardball with 777 ACAP around how much cents on the dollar they're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, it was one thing MSP having a deadline on the money that we own them, but now we've got a situation where we don't know what's going to happen with that money.
Both things stand true, really, and it's worth remembering that the drag on Everton as a football club, i.e. interest payments and stuff like that, I understand for 777 doesn't crystallise till 2026. So from our point of view, there's no rush other than you want to find a buyer who shares that same view. Yeah. So I know it's boring, but let's wait and see.
Right, last few comments before we go. I'm going to race through these quickly because we do need to set up the next stream. Stephen Kelly says, all right, lads, hope you both well.
Hi, Steve.
Is it a worry for you that JB, I'm guessing he means Jared Branthwaite or John Blame, and Mikalenko unlikely to feature tonight or even weekend? So that will be one pre-season friendly, potentially both. For both of them, I see him today, Mikalenko unlikely for the first day of the season. Well, if you get Jake O'Brien in early and get him some game time, we could start the season with Michael Keane or Jake O'Brien. I'm sure we can get through the start of the season and get Jared Branthwaite up to speed quickly. It's not like Jared Branthwaite's been injured. He's just having a bit of a longer holiday because of his involvement in the Euros. But hopefully he'll be okay to play start of the season. Mikalenko, I'm not too sure. Ashley Young.
My view, if you take Branthwaite, yes, he's coming back to pre-season later, but he was training later as well.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
Yeah.
When he was with the squad for a bit, anyway. Manager says they're niggles, and as you say, Branthwaite's not injured, but talk and he's saying the players, they're just small injuries. We just need to be careful. Clearly, the players aren't match fit. They're probably not even physically totally fit yet. And you just don't want to risk them getting injured when they're in that condition.
Yeah.
But you're right. As soon as you get O'Brien through the door, then he'll get some pre-season minutes anyway because he'll have to. Therefore, that gives the manager leeway. Please don't upset people, Ned, by saying, well, we can start with Michael Keane. Yeah. Michael Keane never gets injured.
You'd hope
he's always
he
fit. So.
Yeah. You'd hope he doesn't, but
No.
He's an Everton player.
But if he's still at the club at the start of the season, which seems quite likely, then again, there's plenty of bodies there. Yeah.
I think if
left back's the issue. There's no alternative left back, really.
I think if one was to leave, it would be Holgate at this moment in time. Yeah. Gary Ward says the match with Coventry is on ESPN Plus in the USA for any of those American fans that don't have official memberships.
Good shout, lads. Good shout.
So if you don't have an official membership, you can watch it on that. Blue Cleely says, how was the festival? Punk festival for me this weekend with a small break in between for the Preston game. Nice, who's playing? It was really good. Really, really good weather. It's about 28 degrees down there, so it was hot. Good atmosphere. Glenn Watson says, best light blue goalkeeper kit in quite some time. Yeah. Steve Kelly says, get a size up from what you usually are.
I think that's probably true, yeah.
And last comment from Emma, why did you put me in a timeout last week, Ned? And we used the opportunity for a lesson for everybody. It's one thing, Baz or Ped taking the piss out of me, but once comments start doing it, that just winds me up. That's not banter, that's bullying. And if you start bullying me, I'll just ban you, because I don't take it. Emma, the reason I didn't ban you, because you're normally quite sound. So you've got a little timeout.
What's this finger?
I'm just, I can't poke people, so I just point at them instead. Right, we're going to leave it there. Nice one for John for coming in, doing the show with me, so I wasn't alone. That would have been boring, wouldn't it? I'd be talking about lizards now. We will be live on M-Tag, hopefully in about 9 minutes. It shouldn't take me much longer to set it up. Sorry you can't leave a link, but I just haven't set it up yet because I'm sat here. But make sure you migrate over and give us some support. We'll be talking about Conor Gallagher, Osimhen, Richarlison to Bayern Munich, Emile Smith-Rowe to Fulham, and much other news stories. Find out by joining us on More Than a Game in about 10 minutes. Right, that's us.
Take care, people.
Thanks for watching. See you later.